This is a 509T. It's an enclosed emitter optic, like duty optic, impervious to the weather optic. I spilled a drop of whiskey on it. Optic died. Real quick, this isn't a video on like, oh, this HOLOSUN is terrible, stop, don't buy them. No, I've had a lot of HOLOSUNs. I've had a few catastrophic malfunctions with them. I noticed that the quality check's kind of bad, but I'm still using them and I'm still gonna buy them. I'll talk about why. But in the video is gonna have me talking about what kind of catastrophic malfunctions I had, with how many, and I'll show you some close-ups as well. And real quick, like and subscribe, and if your HOLOSUN works fine, let me know down below. I have officially stopped shilling for them, contract's over, so now it's time to talk about the honest opinions. So anyone that I got to buy a HOLOSUN in the past, sorry, sucks to suck. I'm just kidding, no. I never was paid by HOLOSUN or anything, I'm just totally kidding. However, I did make a video about a 507C a long time ago, and basically I was kind of saying like it was a RMR killer, it's cheaper, and this and that. Well, many years later, HOLOSUN's come out with a whole bunch of new stuff. I've bought many HOLOSUNs. I kind of gathered some to just show you just how many I've had, and I actually had more than this. I just couldn't find them, or probably threw the boxes away. Anyways, time to talk about my opinions on them, but first I want to talk about my first OG 507C, the version 1, the one with the, they used to have big batteries that were loaded underneath. That's how you have the big batteries. That video, so I made a video about it. It's one of my more popular videos. That optic died on me. It died mid-drill, and I actually have it on video, so I'm probably showing you the video right now. It dies mid-drill, and I hesitate a little bit, but I just resort to my backup irons and I just continue the drill. Before it actually completely died on me, it was flickering. Like it would be off, I would shoot and it would come back on. I didn't, I noticed it, but I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just maybe me, like kind of going crazy or whatever. It was doing that a couple drills before it actually shut off. I'm kind of thinking back here, but that was the version 1. When it did shut off, I mean, I was outside, bright sunlight. When it shut off, the solar fail-safe feature on HOLOSUN should not be called a solar fail-safe. It should just be considered a secondary like power option, because the optic died. It wasn't because of battery or anything. It was just a catastrophic failure that cannot be figured out. It just stopped working, even though the battery has juice. I put new batteries in there, it doesn't work. When it died though, solar did not kick in. I was outside, it wasn't kicking in. It's not until I went home, took the battery out, that the solar was able to start working. Weird, right? Again, not until I took the battery out and then brought it in the sunlight that the solar started working. When I put that battery in there, it didn't work. So it is this one right here. It's this one. I have it as a backup on a 2X offset mount, because it still works solar. It just doesn't work with any batteries. Catastrophic, like you have a solar failsafe It's not a solar failsafe. It could run on solar if you don't have any batteries. So again, I've had many. It was not just that one that has failed on me. So I have a green 507 right here. This one started having a catastrophic malfunction on me as well. Okay, so I'm trying to remember this as best as I can, because I've had quite a few issues, so it's kind of hard to keep track. But these things did happen, just maybe not in the order that I'm talking about. So I noticed this thing was giving me issues when my reticle was flickering. Not like how HOLOSUN says it's going to flicker when it's like a low battery warning, which is optics on, flicker. Every consistent seconds it will do this, right? Well, my optic was kind of just flickering sporadically, randomly, not consistently, like as if it had like a really bad connection. And then there was a time when I just checked it and my optic was like gone, like it was dead. And so I tried to cycle through the modes, and the modes, like, I couldn't tell what the heck was going on. I was like, oh, is this thing in lockout? Is it like very dim and then somehow in lockout? I noticed that I was able to get it back on. Adjustment features went from like dim to super high only, like within like a couple clicks. Like the middle options were gone. It wasn't cycling properly when you're trying to cycle from manual lockout to auto. And also to mention, when this thing did like just randomly shut off on me, solar wasn't working again. So that's why I'm like, solar failsafe should not be considered solar failsafe, because it didn't work. But then again, like, you know, you take the battery out and it'll work in solar. I did switch the battery, everything worked again. The cycling issues and my brightness thingies and the flickering all disappeared. Catastrophic malfunction, like, because I guess it was like a low battery or so. It's supposed to be doing the flickering thingy, like how they say that it's supposed to be doing. And I've experienced it before on other HoloSuns, where when it starts flickering, you know it's time to change. And my friend, he goes through batteries all the time. I'll talk about battery life in a bit. This thing didn't do that. So already catastrophic malfunction, and the electronics were just kind of not working properly, just because of a low battery. If you do, just swap the batteries out, which it's super easy because this one is version 2. It's 507 green version 2. You have side load, so it's super easy just to switch it. So if you keep your batteries fresh, I assume this thing's gonna work properly, and it has been. So this is my 509T green, not my first one. This one, I spilled a drop of whiskey on it. Don't ask me how the hell it happened. I spilled a drop of whiskey on it. This is a 509T. It's an enclosed emitter optic, like duty optic, impervious to the weather optic, like freaking acro killer. Drop of whiskey, optic died. I don't know if like if whiskey's like molecular levels or something are like more tiny and fine that they can creep into everything compared to water or whatever. But it was instant. As soon as it fell on here, the optic was dead. I was able to get it back on, but again, it was acting like my 507C version 2 green that I just showed you on my SIG. It was having weird catastrophic errors. I switched the battery and it works again. So there's that. I switched the battery, it works again. Okay, let's talk about battery life real quick. So the old coin batteries, like on the version 1 507C, those things actually lasted kind of forever. Like I went over a year and that thing lasted. Ever since they switched to side load and they have to use a smaller battery, the 1632, it just dies faster. For me, so I have a friend that also runs these, and he has a red one, and he carries on max or like max just under in manual mode, and he's constantly swapping out batteries very quickly. I'd say think it's safe to say at least once a month. Me, I run the green ones, and the green HoloSuns have actually a very smart auto adjust feature where you could adjust like a minimum threshold of the brightness for auto adjust. For example, I could manually adjust my optic on auto mode when you're using a green one. So I could have it yay bright and it'll never drop past that level. But when I go outside and when it has the sun or any light that's brighter, it will bump up to match that level. So that's actually really cool about the green HoloSuns, and they don't even talk about that in their manual, that it does that. Anyways, and I'm able to make my batteries last forever. But when you're running max manual or like a step below, you're gonna be running out fairly quickly. Thousands of hours that they're talking about may just be a big exaggeration, because all companies kind of exaggerate. All right, so I'm gonna talk about the quality of glass. All right, so as you can see here, that epoxy, it's just kind of just on there. It almost looks like a crack. It's not really a good job. If you care about these things, I wouldn't recommend a HoloSun. Again, look at the epoxy on the window. It's just gooped on there. I've seen many pictures of the glass just popping right off. So there's many instances of that happening. Also, so this is my second probably my third 509T. This one's green. I had a red one, and glass quality, it was super clear, totally fine, nothing wrong with it. I get a green one, and it has a strange blur effect. When the dot is in the center of the window, it's clear. As it starts to move left, up, right, or down, or anywhere else other than the center, it actually starts to get blurry. So I'm showing you the clarity difference between the 509T and the 507. They're both green. So I'm gonna go from one side of the window to the other, and then now top to bottom. And you see how it's kind of blurry? Well, here's the 507. It's just drastically sharper, right? 509. It's just very blurry. Crisp. Blurry. There was a person from a company that does optic cuts, very well-known company. They were doing an Instagram live today. So when you're doing optic cuts and stuff, for like, a slide milling company, you're gonna see lots of different kinds of optics coming through. And he said so himself, like, you could tell bad quality check, like bad QC. They're just pumping them out, and I agree. I've had plenty. They're just kind of slapping them together. I'm not really trying to poop all over HoloSun. Obviously, I've bought many, even though my very first one failed. They're innovating a lot. Like, they got the thermal one coming out. They have their SCS, the one with an internal battery only. I don't know what kind of problems are going to happen with those things, especially the thermal one. But they're innovating super fast. Like, they made a 508T, and then which had like a rounded top, like a 507. And they just discontinued that one and did a 508T version 2, like immediately, and then switched it to X2. Like, that's all, I think, like within a year. So how these aren't being tested? They just make them, and if they work, they work. And they're cheap enough for me to just buy them and test mine and be like, okay, well, this one works. Or if this one has a flaw to it, like catastrophic flaws like my 2 on my carry guns, how do I work around them? Like, what do I need to do to make sure they work? And once I'm willing to buy them, and if I can learn them, I'll just keep using them. However, if you don't plan on buying a bunch like me over time, and you just want to buy once, cry once. If you want an enclosed one, I would recommend Trigicon's enclosed one. I know the Aimpoint exists. There's a Steiner as well. The Aimpoint's window is just microscopically small and the optic is ginormous. In my opinion, that affects recoil noticeably. That's my opinion. It affects printing a lot. And that's why I just recommend the Trijicon one, because theirs is smaller and whatnot. But yeah, those things are going to be more expensive, but you just buy once and hopefully you get a good optic that you don't have to worry about. So I'm not pooping all over HOLOSUN. I just want to give my honest opinions on it. Do they still hold zero? Yes, they hold zero. And do they take drops very well? Yes, they take drops very well. My very first one I dropped at the range. Just got a, you know, outside's marred, but the optic's not busted. However, there are people on Facebook and stuff showing pictures of theirs busted. Aaron Cowan straight up will show you if it drops or not. My 509T dropped it on the floor of my garage just to do it, just to show my friends, and it's not cracked or anything. So they hold zero and they're still durable if you get one that's not bad. Other than that, this is it. I mean, like I said, they stopped paying me. I'm just kidding. No. So yeah, these are my opinions. I'm gonna be making if you stayed this long, oh my gosh, thanks. I'm gonna be making videos on the regular. I'm gonna try to do at least once a week. If you do have a HOLOSUN currently and you need an optic cut holster, I make holsters, so I'll have the link in the description. You can go buy one. Other than that, thanks for watching.